And Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at kicks96country.com. Our guest today, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, by way of the great state of New York. Please welcome Josh Deacons. How are you, Josh?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm great, and you're an interesting cat. All right, so you're from New York.
Yeah, upstate New York.
Upstate, all right, not New York City, but the state of New York.
Yeah.
But you've been a staple of like New York music country since about 2011, right?
Yep.
All right, and now have you always been Josh Deacons and the Grizzle Ridge Band, or is this new?
Oh, it's fairly new. We kind of picked up a band name. I was kind of flying around as Josh Deacons, solo artist kind of stuff for a while. But I kind of got together with some pretty cool cats, and we played together for quite a few years. And I looked at it and I said, well, I'm just a small part of what's going on. I feel bad getting up there and saying it's me because it's not just me.
No.
There's everybody else involved. A lot of this stuff is big promotions, big productions, and different events. So I wanted to kind of give them their own name, and so we came up with the Grizzle Ridge Band, and they're the guys that follow me around and do all the hard work.
Have they always been your band, like from like early days, or
no, they're actually pretty recent. Funny story. I was running a solo. I had my solo stuff going on, and I had a guy that owned an event center that I was good friends with, and I bumped into him one day, and the Eli Young Band was getting ready to play at his event. And I said, hey, who's opening up for them? He said, we don't have an opener. I said, I'm your guy. Right? So he says, if that's serious, he's like, I can get that together. I said, all right. I said, I'm your guy. I got it, right? So he says, I'll do it. And I called up my buddy, and I said, listen, I just booked an opener for Eli Young, and I don't have a band. I was just over here thinking that, just kind of running my mouth. And so we slapped together. He said, I know a couple guys. So we made some phone calls, had a couple practices, and then 2 weeks later, we opened up for Eli Young. And I had a great show, had a great time with it, and just kind of been rocking and rolling ever since. We opened up for Thompson Square this spring, and we just did a show with Russell Dickerson not long ago.
Oh man, that's okay. That's a great story. First of all, you need to keep that and lead with that every time you do an interview for the first time. Always lead with that. So then, well, let's go back then. Let's talk about Josh Deacons growing up in upstate New York. Which, if you've never been to New York, now I've been to New York City several times. I'm just going to be back there pretty soon. New York City is one thing, but the state of New York it's kind of like I'm originally from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan is there's a lot of rural territories, not just Detroit. I mean, and neither is New York City. It's like there's a lot of rural up there. And upstate, you get you're going like Buffalo and Manchester and places like that. I got friends from upstate New York. You get some really, really pretty rural country up there. So what part of upstate New York are you from? What was your childhood like?
Oh, so where I grew up is about 45 minutes to an hour north of Syracuse.
Okay.
So foothills of the Adirondacks, they call it. And the Adirondacks, if you're not familiar with them, that's a bigger park than Yellowstone. I mean, there's tons of acreage there. And right there, we have a lot of great lakes. You got the Finger Lakes.
Yeah.
We have Lake Ontario, which is phenomenal salmon fishing and great walleye fishing in there. And then Oneida Lake's another phenomenal walleye spot. So I grew up very rural, very farm, I guess you say economy up in that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of fishing, big fishing community. I actually graduated from a place called Pulaski, which is 100% a fishing community. we have the Salmon River cuts right through the middle of our town. We're only busy for about 2 months a year during salmon season, and the rest of the year it's kind of dead.
Oh man, that's beautiful. So did you grow up listening to country music? Was it like your granddad's music?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up. We didn't have a lot of money. We spent a lot of time in a car traveling, and my father's an auctioneer, so we hauled a lot of antiques and things like that from state to state. So I kind of grew up, our radio is all we had, right? So that's kind of where I kind of fell in love with country music, and that kind of became a big part of my life through that. So
all right, well, thank you for that, first of all. All right, and so flash forward, and like you start playing music. You're playing around New York a lot, but you made the decision at some point to move to Nashville. About 2016, I think you recorded your EP.
Yeah, so I didn't move here. I still live in upstate.
Okay, so you're still a resident of New York. Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of travel in and out as I need to. Yeah, so I came 2016. I did cut Six String Road, which was my EP. Had 5 songs on it, and I cut it, and I didn't really do much with it. It was kind of something I used to kind of book some bars locally, and didn't really do a whole lot with it. And then I bumped into a guy named Mike from ITI Records or Music. They're out of California, and he officially released the song this spring in May. And then through that release, I got involved with Spin Doctors Nashville, and now we're back cutting some more music, and
All right.
we're here doing it, man.
You've already had your first single, "Summertime," has been out there. You got new music coming. Is your next single coming off the EP, or is it something new that you're working on? You're recording now?
Oh, it's gonna be something new. So I'm actually in town in Nashville right now, and we're working on a couple new songs. So that's what we're doing there.
So if you're a Josh Deacons fan from way back, then you know that there's new music coming. Spoiler alert. If you are just learning about Josh Deacons, then you know that you've got something to go back and listen to and find, and you've got some new music coming. So the Grizzle Ridge Band, do you guys tour mostly upstate New York, around New York, or do you guys do regional, national tours? Are you going to be any place close by, maybe in our area?
Oh, maybe. We do mainly do it upstate New York right now. We're all over the state in New York. I mean, we like to be anywhere from Rochester to Utica to Watertown to Syracuse. We kind of stay in that pocket there. But we're looking hopefully to get some better stuff, hook some more tour dates up next year for coming out this way more and playing more shows. So.
Absolutely. So one last question, just because I know that you're thinking it. You've heard us talk about the band. Grizzly Ridge, is that a real geographic place that we can go to and be eaten by grizzly bears? I mean, enjoy nature?
No, it doesn't exist.
So where did you come up with it? Why Grizzly Ridge? This is a fictitious place? There's got to be a story there, right?
So it's kind of funny. So I sat down and I said, man, I really want to give you guys a name because I didn't really like going off just the Josh Deacons band. I felt that was a little conceited. I felt like I was just a small part of a bigger picture. I don't mind having my name in there, and doing it that way. But with my guys that kind of backed me up, I kind of wanted to give them their own identity, right? So we sat down and we just kind of kept throwing out names. And there's no Grizzlies in New York, but there are some Black Bears.
There are, yeah.
But the Black Bear Ridge Band didn't really make sense. So we kind of just threw around some names. And I always liked grizzly bears. Like we talked about it, man. They're terrifying creatures.
They are so scary.
Just a dominant force on this planet. I mean, someone get 12 foot tall. They can look in like a second story window. They're monsters.
I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm not going to sleep. All right. So you just came up with, because it's a cool sound.
Oh, dude, it resonated with me.
Yeah.
It kind of just.
It is a
felt
cool
like
name.
it fit us well in our personality and what we were trying to accomplish. So we went with
Well, if you see this logo anywhere, you know that you're about to hear some really, really great music from Josh Deacons and the Grizzly Ridge Band. Josh, man, we appreciate you coming down and visiting us here at Kicks 96. Hopefully, after you get all that stuff recorded and you guys get out on tour, you can come down here and tell me, it's like, hey, we're playing someplace real close, and then all of us we can all make a journey to go see Josh Deacons and the Grizzly Ridge Band. Now, if somebody is really, really intrigued by you right now and they're like, man, I got to hear some of this, where do they go on the internet to find Josh Deacons?
Oh, you can find it on Spotify.
Okay.
Apple Music, Google Play. It's all over the place. You just kind of look around on your streaming platforms, and you can find it. You can also go to our Facebook page as The Grizzly Ridge Band. If you go to Spotify, it's just under Josh Deacons, because that's kind of solo artist released that way. But as the band, just go to The Grizzly Ridge Band. Follow that page, and it'll let you know where we're playing, when we'll be out here doing, in this area, and you can stay in contact with us.
Absolutely. Josh Deacons is our guest. Look for a live performance elsewhere here on our YouTube channel. And man, best of luck out there. I hope they're good to you up there in New York, and I hope they're good to you in Nashville. All right. So Josh Deacons is our guest, the Grizzle Ridge Band. Summertime was the last single. There's new music coming soon, and hopefully we'll get him back when that new music comes out. Josh, appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
That means flip-flop with cut-out jeans and pretty brown eyes staring at me. Make no mistake, it's summertime.